It's summer 2008, New York City. Ryan Braun sits down for an interview with MLB.com. In the last year, Braun has gone from a top prospect to a Rookie of the Year winner to the starting left fielder for the National League All-Star team. He's the best Brewers outfielder since Robin Yount, and he's leading Milwaukee to their first playoff berth since the 80s. And he's only 24 years old. If the pressure is getting to him, he doesn't show it. I grew up in Los Angeles, he says. I went to college in Miami. I've always been really comfortable in the spotlight. The part of this article that I want to focus on, though, is down here, 14 paragraphs deep, in which Ryan Braun discusses his workout regimen. Despite his gaudy home run totals, Braun isn't your typical power hitter. At 6'1", 201 pounds, he's a far cry from the likes of Ryan Howard or Prince Fielder. He makes up for this, Braun explains, with, quote, a lot of ab work, a lot of core work, and a lot of rotational exercises. If you take him at his word, Ryan Braun's success is the result of God-given talent, a steady diet, and a little bit of elbow grease. If you know Ryan Braun, though, then you'll know that he's a man you should never take at his word. Braun was born in Mission Hills, California, a neighborhood nestled in the San Fernando Valley, north of Los Angeles. Relatively small by baseball standards, one scout asked Ryan why his organization should choose him. The 18-year-old's response was simple: because I'll make you look like a genius. Braun was confident, but there were no takers. He attended the University of Miami instead, on an academic scholarship. Ryan was a star in Miami, winning the Freshman of the Year award, hitting .335 his sophomore year, and earning All-American honors as a junior. In June of 2005, he was chosen 5th overall in the MLB draft by the Milwaukee Brewers. Not everyone, however, saw Braun as the right move for Milwaukee. Many experts questioned the Brewers' decision, especially since highly touted prospect Troy Tulowitzki was still on the board. It wouldn't be long, though, before these doubts were silenced. Braun rocketed through the minors and was selected for the 2006 All-Star Futures game. The next spring, he was invited to the Brewers camp. In just 11 spring training games, he crushed 5 home runs. A month later, he was called up to the show. The day after that, he hit his first MLB home run. On September 9th, he hit his 30th, a new Brewers rookie record. By the end of 2007, Ryan Braun had mashed 34 homers, the most of any rookie, and 5th among NL hitters, despite having missed the first third of the season. This was enough to earn Braun the National League Rookie of the Year honors, in a close race with one Troy Tulowitzki. In May of 2008, just a year after his debut, Braun signed an 8-year extension with Milwaukee. That July, Braun was selected to compete in the Home Run Derby. He put on a show, but took a backseat to a record-shattering performance from Josh Hamilton. The Brewers, meanwhile, had surged to an early season lead in the NL Central, but dropped to last place by May. By September, they had clawed their way back to an 83-67 record. Entering the final day of the 2008 regular season, the Brewers were tied with the Mets for the wildcard spot. Taking the mound in Milwaukee, facing a first-place Cubs team, was mid-season acquisition CC Sabathia. It was the lefty's third start in the span of just 9 days. He'd go on to pitch a complete game. In the bottom of the 8th, with the score tied 1-1, Braun came up to bat. Throughout the stadium, all 45,000 fans in attendance rose to their feet. With 2 outs and a runner on first, the 24-year-old turned on the first pitch he saw, sending the ball flying deep into the left field stands. With this one swing, Ryan Braun launched himself into Brewers history. As he rounded the bases, the crowd's eyes turned to the scoreboard, where the Mets were shown losing to the Marlins. When Sabathia got the final out a few minutes later, Miller Park erupted. It was Milwaukee's first postseason berth since 1982, a year before Ryan Braun was born. Now, the Brewers would go on to lose a 4-game NLDS to the Phillies, who themselves won the World Series. Despite the loss, though, 2008 saw a complete reinvigoration of baseball in Milwaukee. Home attendance hit 3 million for the first time ever. Their 44 sellouts, including 22 straight over the summer, was a Brewers record. With 37 homers, 106 RBI, and a league-leading 83 extra base hits, Ryan Braun finished 3rd in the NL MVP race. In the summer of 2009, he received his second All-Star selection, becoming the first Brewer since Robin Yount to make it in consecutive years. On September 11, 2009, Ryan Braun hit his 100th career home run, doing so in his 400th career game. 2010 marked another strong year for the outfielder. He was an all-star yet again, won a third Silver Slugger, and hit 25 home runs. The next season, however, he'd become a superstar. In April of 2011, Milwaukee announced that they'd sign Ryan Braun to another extension. Along with his previous contract, this deal would make Braun a Brewer through the year 2020. The team loved him, the press adored him, and the fans were obsessed. He made celebrity appearances, filmed commercials, and even opened a restaurant with Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
This is the second restaurant for number 8, the first for number 12. How involved is Aaron Rodgers and Ryan Braun?
Very involved. Most people think that when athletes open up places, they just slap their name on it. But in this instance, they're very involved. Ryan was here the past weekend giving his input.
On the field, Ryan Braun was playing like a new man. He started the 2011 season with a 28-game on-base streak and earned a 4th straight All-Star nod. Now, were there some stumbles? Sure. But for a player as beloved as Braun, these slip-ups somehow made him more endearing. On September 23rd, he hit a 450-foot bomb to seal the Brewers' spot atop the NL Central. It was their first division title in decades. By the end of the season, Ryan Braun would lead the National League in slugging percentage, OPS, and extra base hits. He was second in batting average, runs, and total bases, 4th in RBI and doubles, 5th in on-base percentage and hits, 6th in home runs, and 7th in stolen bases. He was just the second Brewer to join the 30-30 club. On defense, he led all left fielders in fielding percentage, which doesn't really matter, but it's fun to mention. Braun was named the National League MVP, receiving 20 out of 32 possible first-place votes, just beating second-place finisher Matt Kemp. A fan favorite, a multi-millionaire, and the reigning most valuable player, all at just 28 years old.
Yeah, I think, in hindsight, in retrospect, when I have an opportunity to look back and reflect on the year, probably the moment where I hit the game-winning home run against the Florida Marlins to clinch the National League Central Division for my team. As a player, you hope to have an opportunity to influence meaningful games down the stretch.
It's October 1st, 2011. As the Brewers prepare for Game 1 of the NLDS, Ryan Braun is called in for a routine drug test. Administering this test is a man named Dino Lorenzi Jr. Lorenzi is 52 years old and a Wisconsin native. When not at his job at a local healthcare facility, he works as a third-party drug tester for Major League Baseball. For Dino Lorenzi, this is a run-of-the-mill urine sample. He doesn't know that this moment is about to turn his whole life upside down. For the time being, things remain calm. That November, Braun is officially declared the NL MVP. Then, on December 10th, the news drops.
Hunter Strauka's got a natural knack for sports.
Just kind of line the ball up with your bat and hit at it.
And like many 11-year-old Brewer fans, Hunter's got a lot of good things to say about National League MVP Ryan Braun.
He can just really whack the ball, and he hits it like every time, super far.
But this weekend, Hunter and countless fans heard reports of Braun's positive test for androgens, commonly known as testosterone.
According to a report by ESPN's Outside the Lines, Ryan Braun had tested positive that October for synthetic testosterone.
It makes you like super strong and fast, and just makes you a lot better at everything.
He was informed of the result later that month and immediately demanded a second test be taken. The day the report drops, a spokesman for Braun puts out a statement. There are highly unusual circumstances surrounding this case, which will support Ryan's complete innocence. A source close to the MVP claims the results were, quote, insanely high, the highest ever for anyone who has ever taken a test, twice the level of the highest test ever taken. On January 20th, 2012, Braun attends a hearing with an MLB arbitrator where he makes his appeal. The next day, he accepts his MVP award at the BBWAA banquet in New York. He doesn't take any questions. In February, Braun is informed by MLB that he's won his appeal. The 50-game suspension he's been facing will be overturned. The next day, the outfielder calls a press conference. In front of a gaggle of reporters, Braun begins his speech with a denial.
If I had done this intentionally or unintentionally, I'd be the first one to step up and say, I did it. By no means am I perfect, but if I've ever made any mistakes in my life, I've taken responsibility for my actions. I truly believe in my heart, and I would bet my life that this substance never entered my body at any point.
He also takes time to recognize all the other hypothetical victims of wrongful PED use accusations.
I have always stood up for what is right. Today's about everybody who's ever been wrongly accused, and everybody who's ever had to stand up for what is actually right.
Braun then launches into his defense, which he and his lawyers had successfully used to get him off. According to Ryan, the fault for his positive test lies not with him, but with the man who collected it, Dino Lorenzi Jr. Braun claims that Lorenzi failed to follow protocol with his urine sample, storing it at his home before he sent it in to be tested. Now, this much is true. Lorenzi had taken the sample home, and he had waited 2 days before taking it to FedEx for shipping. What there's no evidence of, however, was that the test was tampered with. This doesn't stop Braun from blaming Dino Lorenzi.
Why he didn't bring it in, I don't know. On the day that he did finally bring it in, FedEx opened at 7:30. Why didn't he bring it in until 1:30? I can't answer that question. Why was there zero documentation? What could have possibly happened to it during that 44-hour period? There were a lot of things that we learned about the collector, about the collection process, about the way that the entire thing worked that made us very concerned and very suspicious about what could have actually happened.
In the end, the delay was a deciding factor in Braun's appeal, the first successful challenge of a blown MLB drug test. With the drama seemingly behind him, the Brewers star goes on to have another All-Star season, finishing second in the 2012 MVP race to Buster Posey. As it turns out, however, this story is only just beginning.
Any following closing comments?
Yeah, I guess the simple truth is that I'm innocent. I've maintained my innocence from day one, and ultimately I was proven to be innocent. And beyond that, I truly appreciate everybody's support, and thank you guys for being here today.
It would be years before the full extent of Ryan Braun's doping was uncovered. See, the roots of this controversy go much deeper than anyone could have expected. It all began with this man. This is Tony Bosch, better known by his clients as Dr. T. Bosch is a con man, a cocaine addict, and a drug dealer. He's also the mastermind behind Biogenesis, the quote-unquote wellness clinic that supplied performance-enhancing drugs to baseball's biggest stars. It had started in 2007 with a call from an all-star. At the time, Bosch was a 44-year-old anti-aging specialist in Las Vegas for a medical conference. As he and his father discussed Botox injections over lunch, Tony's phone started ringing. It was Eugene Mato, a friend of his, and a sports agent. Mato told Bosch that he had a client who needed help. A few seconds later, Red Sox slugger Manny Ramirez joined the call. Manny explained his problem. He was tired all the time. He felt horrible, and when he tried to pick up his bat, it felt like it weighed 50 pounds. Tony listened thoughtfully to the All-Star's troubles. On the inside, though, he was ecstatic. This one phone call would take him from a small-time specialist to the go-to guy for athletes looking to turn back the clock. With the help of Tony Bosch, Manny Ramirez played like a new man. He hit 37 home runs in 2008, his most in years. He was rewarded with a $45 million deal with the Dodgers. Bosch, meanwhile, was busy building his business. His list of clients had grown to include baseball stars like Ramirez and Alex Rodriguez, former boxing champion Shannon Briggs, and WWE star Paul White, better known as The Big Show. Bosch ran his operation out of Miami, the home of his Biogenesis clinic. It was here that Dr. T administered a wide range of products: testosterone injections, creams, and his signature red gummies. Fast-acting to avoid drug tests, players would place them under their tongue before game time for an extra boost. Now, none of these players ended up in Dr. T's office by accident. Bosch relied on a network of friends, agents as he called them, to connect him with professional athletes. One of these agents was Marcelo Albier, a former pitcher for the University of Miami, and a friend of Ryan Braun. Marcelo Albier hadn't known Bosch for very long, They had first met in the winter of 2011, when a strength and conditioning coach at the university recommended that he visit Biogenesis. Later that day, Marcelo became one of Tony's clients. It was through Marcelo Albir that Ryan Braun first learned of Dr. T. In the spring of 2011, the All-Star asked Albir if he had anything that could help him with a nagging leg injury. A few days later, Marcelo bought testosterone for Braun from Bosch. The drug in question was an HGH cream hidden inside of a deodorant dispenser. The instructions were simple. Apply 2 dabs of the cream to the injured area, then wait. Each shipment, good for 2 weeks at a time, cost $1,500. They were mailed to Braun under the name Sean Markham, his Brewers teammate. In a series of text messages obtained by ESPN from court filings regarding the Biogenesis case, Marcelo Albir and Tony Bosch discuss supplying the slugger with PEDs.
Tony, was wondering if you were able to get that ibuprofen cream for Ryan.
Yes, you can pick up tomorrow or this evening.
Tony, what's up? Long time no talk. Hope all is well. I was wondering if you could provide more of the ibuprofen cream and also something to help give more energy for Ryan. He wants something to give him a boost, but not have to take any shots. Let me know if that's possible. Thanks.
I can give him an infusion before postseason. That will take him over the top. Just need the expenses paid. I usually charge $2,000 per infusion. It will be a gift and a closing point for next season. He won't be able to live without it.
Okay, perfect. Gonna talk to him soon, and I'll get back to you.
For next season, it would be $15,000 up front and $8,000 a month. We can play with the numbers, but no less than $6,000 a month and no less than $10,000 up front. You and me go half after expenses.
Sounds good. Will the gummies and cream be ready today? I'm leaving tomorrow to visit Ryan. Thanks. He wanted me to bring them with me.
No, tomorrow. I can always FedEx to you.
Okay, sounds good. I will send you where to ship. Thanks.
Hey, got everything. Give me an address.
Send to the Pfister Hotel, 424 East Wisconsin Ave in Milwaukee. Send to me, Marcelo Albir. If you can, send it AM, so I can give it to him tomorrow before he gets to the field.
As the 2011 playoffs kicked off, Braun and the Brewers blew past Arizona in the division series, when the soon-to-be MVP hit a go-ahead 463-foot home run in Game 1 of the NLCS. Albir and Bosch were more than happy to take credit.
Our boy's playing incredible.
Hey, tell our boy not to take any more truckies and to throw the cream away. This guy is out of control. LOL.
This guy's a beast. He's hitting amazing.
A few weeks later, this celebration would turn to worry. In late October, Ryan Braun was informed that he had tested positive for high levels of testosterone. In a panic, Braun sought out Bosch for advice.
Our friend wants to know if you know any names, numbers, reputable doctors we could reach out to that would say the same things that you were telling him. Also, if Red Bull or Fast Twitch or any other NSF certified supplements would affect T to E ratios at all.
I don't know about Twitch or any other supplement. Definitely not Red Bull.
Yo, what's your email? Got more info about our boy. He wants to come down next weekend to Miami. Willing to pay whatever. Our friend wants to fly in and talk to you.
Monday evening at the Ritz in Key Biscayne. I will rent a hotel suite.
Okay, cool.
On November 21st, 2011, the ballplayer met Dr. T in person for the first time. They initially considered challenging the test itself, but this proved to be a dead end. According to Bosch, Braun had taken so many testosterone gummies in so small a time frame that it would be impossible to prove otherwise. Instead, they would try a different tactic. Blame the tester. Leaving this meeting, Braun and Bosch both agreed to act as if it had never happened. 2 days later, Ryan Braun was announced as the National League MVP. For his accomplices, this was very good news.
Our boy won the MVP award.
Awesome. It'll be harder now for MLB to try to f*** him.
I think so too.
In January of 2012, as Braun publicly denies the results of the test, he and his team argue their case in front of MLB. They claim that Dino Lorenzi Jr. mishandled the urine sample and very well may have tampered with it. In private, Braun spreads rumors that Lorenzi is an anti-Semite and also a Cubs fan. For Lorenzi, this situation is a nightmare. After Braun holds a press conference declaring his innocence, news teams descend on Dino and his family's homes. It doesn't matter that the accusations are baseless. It doesn't matter that the tamper-resistant seal on the urine sample was completely intact. The 52-year-old pleads with the public to respect his family's privacy and asks that any questions be sent to his lawyer, but it's too late. The damage to his reputation is done. As the 2012 MLB season carries on without a hitch for Ryan Braun, the slugger begins to let his guard down. The worst is behind him, he thinks. His name is cleared, and he's back on top of the game. And all it took was throwing one innocent man under the bus. It's the spring of 2013, and Tony Bosch is running out of options. His clinic has been shut down for nearly 6 months. Legal problems are mounting by the day, and money is running low. Associates of Alex Rodriguez, his most famous client, are offering to relocate him as long as he keeps his mouth shut. The walls are closing in, and Tony is desperate. In a last-ditch effort to save himself, he books an interview with ESPN. This interview is a Hail Mary, a message to Rodriguez, Ryan Braun, and MLB that Dr. T is ready to talk. 5 minutes after the interview airs, Rob Manfred, the right-hand man to then Commissioner of Baseball Bud Selig, sets up a meeting with Bosch. The meeting takes place at Scotty's Landing, a waterfront bar in Miami. Over the course of the evening, the two parties strike a deal. Tony Bosch will cooperate with the league's PED investigation. In exchange, MLB will pay for his legal fees, security, hotels, high-end bars, and child support, a cost of well over $5 million. Not everyone is happy about this deal, though. See, the DEA is conducting an investigation of its own, Operation Strikeout, and they're not pleased by the league's decision to work with Bosch. But MLB has the proof, and the man they need. In the summer of 2013, the league brings down the hammer. By the end of it all, 21 professional baseball players will be punished in connection to Biogenesis. Chief among them, Alex Rodriguez, Nelson Cruz, Melky Cabrera, Bartolo Colon, and Ryan Braun, who's suspended for the final 65 games of the season. He's the first former MVP to be suspended under the league's drug program. The press tries to get in touch with Dino Lorenzi Jr. Given the stress of the past year, however, the man who unwillingly took the fall for Ryan Braun would prefer to stay out of the spotlight. His father, on the other hand, has some choice words for the MVP.
I think it's really hurt baseball in the long run. And I think it's good that it's coming out and maybe get over all this and get back to normal.
Aaron Rodgers, who had previously bet a year's salary that his friend was clean, announces that the restaurant partnership won't continue. With his reputation in freefall, Braun releases a statement, finally taking responsibility for his actions. Kind of. He doesn't say, however, whether he knowingly used banned substances. That November, the outfielder makes his first public appearance since the suspension. Once again, he refuses to go into specifics about what he did or when he did it. He also tells the press that he had dinner with Dino Lorenzi and his family in an attempt to make amends. As the 2014 season begins, though, it's clear that Braun's troubles aren't over yet.
Do I feel like it should be stripped? I do. I feel like it should be. But that's not for me to decide, that's not for me to decide.
Everywhere the Brewers go, opposing crowds boo the slugger. It's the worst full season of Ryan Braun's career. In the years following his scandal, Ryan Braun embarked on a sort of redemption tour. He participated in food drives, donated to charity, and volunteered building houses. He collected another All-Star appearance, becoming the all-time Brewers leader. Still, as the years passed, and time took its inevitable toll, the man who once craved the spotlight began to fade into the background. In August of 2014, Rob Manfred, the man who led the Biogenesis investigation, was appointed Commissioner of Baseball. That October, Tony Bosch pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute testosterone. A Miami Herald report confirmed that 9 players, including Braun, were given immunity for their testimony. In September of 2020, Ryan Braun played his last MLB game. He finished his career as the Milwaukee Brewers leader in home runs, 4th in games played, and 3rd in hits. He'll be eligible for the Hall of Fame in 2026.